took my daughter to Cold Stone this past weekend. I'm going there. Not that much. Always watching our figures. And we walked in with our masks, and there's a guy in front of us around 45, 50 who's not wearing a mask. And then there's another lady that's just paying, getting her ice cream, and she does have a mask on. So pretty much in Florida, it's mandatory, right, to wear masks now when you're going into stores. And not like you're going to go, they can put your handcuffs or fine you or anything. But, everyone has their sign up there. I'd say 95% of people in Florida are doing that, following the rules, practicing social distancing, even though you'll see, someone take a video of some idiots at a beach and it's like all of Florida, all of Arizona, they just affect everybody. It's again, the media is really crazy. So anyway, everywhere in Florida, you're going to the store, you have to wear a mask. This guy wasn't wearing a mask. So the girl is working there. One of the girls, there's three of them. There's three girls there, all around probably 17, 18 years old. Their bosses aren't there or anything. One of the girls comes out and asks the guy, hey, do you have a mask? Because it's required. And the guy starts being a real asshole. I mean, you saw it coming. At least I saw it coming because the guy just looked like an ass. I mean, you could tell him come from New York. You see it a mile away. The demeanor or how they are. They just, Anyway, he starts arguing with this girl. He's like, why do I need a mask? I mean, since you're wearing one, how can I give anything to you? And she's like, well, you could give the coronavirus to someone else. I mean, maybe you could, maybe you can. But he keeps going. And he's like, my doctor told me masks don't work. They don't work. I don't know why everyone's wearing them. Again, the girl is 17 years old, right? She's just doing her job. She's doing what the boss asked her to do. And of course, the boss, at least at this place, is never ever on site. So store policy, you need to wear a mask. Now, I talked to you about masks. I mean, I've read tons of studies. Some of them show that masks don't work at all. Some of them show that masks do work. The ones that show that do work are the higher quality masks, which are much, much better compared to just those paper thin ones. And a lot of people don't know how to use them. Well, they'll wear them and then, they'll touch everything. As soon as they get out, they grab the mask by their mouth. So it's hard to tell, studies. The bottom line is whatever you think of masks, I mean, if there's a possibility that it can reduce COVID or reduce the spread, just wear one. Plus the store policy, you have to wear one, right? You have to wear one no matter what. No, but regardless of what I think of masks, what you think of masks, what any doctor thinks, any study you read, it's store policy at Cold Stone, every place else in Florida, and most places in the United States, that you have to wear a mask. If you want sweet cream ice cream with graham cracker pie crust, sprinkles, and vanilla Oreos, I swear I didn't order that. The small cup of that, I swear I didn't. They just wear a freaking mask. Just wear it. Just wear it and shut up. And the guy's going back and forth, and I just told him, I said, dude, it's store policy. Just wear the freaking mask. I said freaking because I was with my daughter. I would have probably told him something else because he was really being like an ass. So the guy takes the mask out of his back pocket. He had it on him the whole time and puts it on and then orders his ice cream and leaves. And then he's kind of arguing with the lady who just paid. And she's like, he's like, I don't know why you should wear a mask. And she's like, well, you should. And like they're all fighting. And I'm just looking at that situation and say it's a perfect example of the new America, where if you have a different opinion than someone else, then that person is automatically an asshole, no matter what. I mean, it's store policy, wear the mask, but there's two people that one believed you wear a mask, one didn't, and the lady started fighting back and forth. Again, the girl's just doing her job, but I mean, it started getting heated to the point where there was so much anger, right? And it's the way America is right now. We all have our opinions. I mean, we used to be able to vote for whoever we wanted to without worrying about, Goya or someone. You look at Steph Curry, where Under Armour CEO Kevin Plank went to, I forgot what it was for Donald Trump, and he came out and went against it. And, he's got a huge contract with Under Armour. Kevin Plank was like, all right, my fault. And it's like, you can't have your own opinion about anything, right? I like, think about it. If you vote for Trump, you're a racist, right? Or if you kneel for the flag, you don't want to kneel for the flag, you're definitely a racist, right? Even though that could mean something to where, your parents died in a war, or you had a parent member or a family member died in a war, and that flag means something more to you, and you're just like, hey, I just don't want to kneel for the national anthem. You're a racist. Like, automatically, everybody gets labeled. And it's pretty crazy. And my point of this, and you guys are seeing it, I don't care what side you're on, but it's so funny how you get bullied into FU. Hey, you even look at Hollywood. If there's someone in Hollywood that supports Trump, good luck. Your career's over. You're done. You're done. And who's the famous actor that supports that Trump? And I'm not talking about James Woods or something that's really getting movie parts right now. They hold a production in most studios everywhere, but you can't really speak out. You can't really speak your opinion on anything. I mean, you have to be scared in today's times. Pretty crazy. And that's the same thing that's happened with COVID right now in terms of the response in each of our states. That should not be political at all. It shouldn't be blue states want to close and red states want to open. It should be the governor's decision, their decision based on what they see, what they believe, what they're studying within their states. But it's not. It's political. Who cares people's lives at stake? Who cares? Now, why am I bringing this up? Because it's important to you. It's important to your life. I mean, what I'm seeing right now is unbelievable. We're looking at New York, and I love New York. Most of my subscribers are in New York and California. I'm going to talk about these two places, these two cities. Highest cost of living in these areas. You make $200,000 a year in most of these areas, and you can't even make ends meet, and these people aren't making anything close to that right now because a lot of businesses are closed. Outside, if you work Silicon Valley or, you're able to make money, and, again, technology companies doing great. But overall, people are struggling to the point of what do you do? And these economies are closed. I mean, California just announced they're closing, and now you have New York that never opened, and they're high-fiving each other. You had Dr. Fauci come out and say, well, New York is doing it right. New York is doing it very, very wrong. Again, I have no agenda here. Right? I mean, that's New York blood's in me. 37 years I lived there. Love the place. I'll always love it. You cannot keep that economy closed. And we look back in March and we said we have to extend the curve. What does that mean? It means that you didn't want too many people catching the coronavirus at the same time because we didn't have the capacity in hospitals. We didn't have enough ventilators, right? We brought ships in on the coastlines for hospitals that we didn't even need, which is great. Better to be prepared than not. Now we're fully prepared. We're not seeing people on the streets in Florida, Arizona, Texas, where cases are so-called exploding, if you hear it, right? Nobody's going to tell you about all the stats. Death rates are down. Hospitalization rates are holding steady and actually starting to go down. But you're not seeing people on the streets like they need a hospital bed or they can't get into ICU right now. Maybe a few areas in Miami and some places. But for the most part, no, you're not seeing that. It's not being reported. No way. But what's important is these economies are open. Florida is open. We're practicing social distancing. Of course, cases are going to explode. But look at the death rates as a percentage of overall people who were infected. And Fundstrat just came out with something really cool where they showed the hospitalization rates and the death rates, the percentage of death rates in Florida, Arizona, Texas, also in California, because California cases spiked, but they decided to close their economy. Florida, Arizona, Texas, not so much. But now they plateaued and they're going down as of the last week, which is great because when we came out with the studies in March, everybody had a second wave coming. You just wanted to extend that curve. You're going to close the economies. You're going to open them back up. More people are going to get it. This may be the only solution we have if we don't get a vaccine. A vaccine is not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. And if we are going to get a vaccine, it's not going to come to at least Q1 2021. To put that in perspective, we've been closed for 5 months. Look at our economy. And the Fed spent 30% of GDP, $6.5 trillion. More is coming, right? All that we know, the checks are ending this month. More is coming, trillions more. It's the only thing supporting our economy right now. Otherwise, the market would be dead. I mean, people are struggling out there. It's crazy. What, a bar, a restaurant, you got to close again? Good luck. But for New York to stay closed right now, do they think that the virus is just suddenly going to magically disappear? What if we don't get a vaccine for 2 years? Remember, the quickest we brought a vaccine to market was 4 years, 1967. That was mumps. Yes, we have more resources. We have more companies working on it, companies around the world globally. I get it. I got to tell you something. I'll go over the studies later in my educational segment. We're going to talk about biotech companies, vaccine, a lot of names in that industry, beneficiaries, who's going to get hurt. But when you're looking at Pfizer and Moderna, which they use special technology, our RNA technology, immunotherapy, helps your immune system fight against this. Their phase 1 studies were great. I've never seen this in over 15 years I've been covering biotech, but they're signing deals with distribution that they could commercialize distribution and send this out as soon as this is approved, like it's a done deal. They're in early phase 1, which is crazy. And I got to tell you, if a vaccine comes out this year, are you really going to take it? I can tell you, I hope you don't take it because it hasn't been tested. It needs to be tested. There has to be safety data on it. And it's got to be from a massive amount of people. You can't force this. You can't push this. You make a mistake, you could result in 10x the amount of deaths from the coronavirus if this triggers something else. You can't rush this process. But you're looking at Florida, Arizona, and Texas. Mark my words, because in 3 months from now, they are going to wind up closing their borders to every other state because those other states are going to start opening. They're going to realize their economies are getting crushed, like New York, and then California's going to open back up. Again, it's not magically going to disappear. It's not. And once you open up, more people out there, more people are going to get it. But we understand now that the coronavirus impacts people with respiratory problems, people over 60, 65. Rates are incredibly low for women, for kids. If you have type O blood, you're almost immune, which is kind of weird. I think it's kind of cool. There's a lot of things that we know now. We have ventilators. We have tons of ventilators. I mean, we have the hospital beds in place. But you have to go through this process. It's not just, you can't just say, hey, just everybody stay home, we'll be fine. That's not the answer when we have a 0.04% death rate from the coronavirus in the United States. That's insane to close these economies. And I can see the arguments about school, all the doctors. I mean, they've had them on all the shows saying that they have kids. Hey, they need to go back to school. I'm for that. However, you're the parent. And maybe, God forbid, you had another kid that's sick or another kid that passed away. God forbid. Oh, man. You got to have a different mentality than homeschool, online, whatever. But overall, when you look at the percentages, it makes sense. Even the leading doctors of the world are saying, open up the schools. You can't take this out on the kids, what's going on. It's a very low rate. And you got to worry about the teachers too, right, that are teaching. You don't want them to get infected. They're older, right? Some of them are in the 60s. But for New York to really be high-fiving each other because, hey, virus is down, everything's okay. You go to, I know several people that actually just traveled to New York. They had to. And even again, people involved in politics and business and stuff. It's empty. It's empty. They show pictures of Times Square. There's nobody there. Are you kidding me? How are people living? How are they making money? You're going to have to open up sooner or later. Are you going to open up in 9 months from now? Holy cow. What do you think is going to happen? Look at the crime rate. Look what's going on in these cities. You see, you're going to see a massive, you're seeing it already. I mean, the migration into Florida is amazing. Even my little town used to be really cool, quiet. I mean, they're building everywhere. Houses are flying off the market. Everyone I know now is a real estate agent. The housing market's flying through the roof. We're seeing mortgage rates low. But how do you live in New York and California where, okay, I used to live there and that was great and that's awesome. And you have all these restaurants, 24 hours, you could do whatever you want. All that's gone. All the benefits of living there and paying those high costs are gone. You really want to live there? It's dangerous to walk the streets in a lot of areas. In the major cities. I mean, it's crazy. But I don't see how this is political. I mean, I do see it, right? It makes sense. People are going to do anything. Remember, the politicians don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about me. They don't give a shit about anybody. They don't give a shit about any cause. I mean, you really think they care about Black Lives Matter? They really think they care about helping you? Are you crazy? They're going to support anything that's going to get them votes right now. They're dying to get in there. They even want to get in there and the Democrats win across the board, which is a possibility. I mean, why are they talking about removing the filibuster for, which is insane? I mean, that's put in place so, things get done where you need support from the other side. That's dangerous. And I'd say the same thing on Republicans, Democrats. I mean, the quest for power, the need for power, I've never seen it so crazy where you're siding with the far left the far, far left that believes you're a racist if you don't do exactly what they tell you to do. And it's no coincidence that these people, what do they want? No guns, no police, right? Pretty easy to take over shit when you don't have that. But you're going to have both sides like try to get that vote and support them. But be careful because that group has the power to be bigger than Democrats and Republicans. It's crazy out there. You can't defend yourself, right? The couple in St. Louis came out with guns. They were getting robbed. They didn't shoot anybody. They felony, right? They're getting charged with a felony because they're protecting their home. They're protecting their property. The alternatives, these guys come in, who knows what happens? They want to take that right away from you. They're protecting yourself. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. But you're looking at COVID and just why is this being so political considering the huge consequences we have where people are dying. I mean, we're trying to save lives. We're trying to open up the economy. If this continues, the dire need for a vaccine, it's never been this great. A month ago, 3 months, when this first started closing economies in March, it's never been that as great as now, considering I didn't factor that in. I didn't factor in at all that New York would keep its economy closed or California would go back and close their economy. I didn't factor that in because we all knew from the beginning that once we open up our economies, the cases were going to rise, but we wanted to make sure that there's enough hospitals out there. But if people do get sick, enough ICU beds, they can get taken care of, which we have. They want to make sure that death rate, the percentage death rate is not rising, and it's not because we're becoming smarter about it. The people who can contract this virus where it could lead to major problems, fatalities, are being extra careful, and everyone around us is being extra careful. But to see on TV, and again, I try to watch all the channels. This way I get a good perspective. You want to know the consensus because if you know the consensus, that's how you make money. But don't be a pawn. Don't let them use you. Understand what their motives are. Learn how to benefit from them in terms of making money. How do you benefit yourself? Because they don't care about you. They're not closing a state or opening a state based on worrying about you contracting it and dying from the COVID. No. They're doing it based on what their political party believes they need to do to get more votes. And it's insane. It's not going to stop. It's going to get worse through November. And November is not around the corner. It's looking at a few months away. You'd think it's sooner than later, but imagine we keep economies closed that long. Is New York going to stay closed that long? How are you going to live there? The massive expenses, the cost, the taxes in these areas. How are you going to live there if these economies remain closed? And you're seeing fights in California with gym owners and stuff. And again, I'm not supporting gym owners or gyms and bars. I think that's a little crazy to open up those businesses. But still, they're like, I'm not closing. I'm not going to, my life's done. My business is done. I can't do anything. I'm not even going to get any more money from the government. People are having trouble getting those loans from the government, especially if you only have a couple of employees. They're fighting it and saying, hey, it's my right. I could stay open. But when you look at the statistics, guys, you got to keep the economy open. You have to slowly, again, it got a little quick in Florida. Now it's coming down in Florida, even in California, Arizona, Texas. Those are the 4 states. The fast rising infections, they've all plateaued going down. The hospitalization rates, percentage death rates, they're going down. They're going down now as of last week, which is great. That's the second wave. And that's how you lead to herd immunity, which is a necessity if we don't get a vaccine, which is no guarantee.